Simsy Claire here and welcome back. So today we're doing another Sims 4 speed build. I'm really excited about this one. I did a base game only build not that long ago on my channel, and this one is base games and seasons only. So if you only have base game and the seasons EP, you can go ahead and download this straight from the gallery. My gallery ID is Simsy Claire. And anyway, this is going to be a set of 4 different townhouses. Each townhouse is going to be themed off of the 4 different seasons. Now, I know the weather's been a bit wonky, especially here where I live. We kind of skipped over spring, which was a little unfortunate, but this is designed after all 4 seasons, and the one we're working on right now is spring, and I kind of do a lot of the spring one first, trying to figure out how I want to decorate these homes, and then you'll see me real quickly go through and do the other ones before we do any interiors. But I wanted to get a good idea on how I wanted to do this, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to stick with the plan that I had or like exactly how I was going to go, because I've done a lot of seasons looking builds. Like my farmhouse had a lot of cats and dogs in seasons, and there's been a lot of rustic builds on this channel, so I was gonna try and change it up. I was thinking about doing modern, but then I was like, no, I really want to stick to limited packs, and obviously the easiest one to do seasonal townhouses with would have been seasons, so I think it's okay that I went ahead and stuck with another seasons build. I promise I'll have different ones coming up shortly. But here I am. As I said, I set up the spring one completely first so I can get a good idea, and each different townhouse has their own feature on the outside of their house. So this one you can see has this little outdoor patio area covered by a piece of the house. It's an extended room, and a couple of them have balconies, a couple of them just have larger outdoor areas. So I tried to make each one look a little unique from the next. And I struggled a little bit with the color schemes I wanted to do, because summer and spring to me both scream just like bright colors, particularly the color yellow. But spring is definitely more of a pastel-y feeling to me, because I always just think about dyeing Easter eggs. But summer, it's still light colors, but in the game it doesn't really distinguish between pastels and light colors all that much, so I was having an issue trying to pick what colors I wanted to do, and I ended up going with this light purple for spring, and I really like how it ends up looking. And if I remember correctly, I bring the purple in through the inside of the house as well, but I also do a whole bunch of other pastel colors. I do pastel pink, pastel yellow, but you'll see that when we get inside. And then here I'm decorating the yard for spring. So since this is spring, I wanted there to be a lot of flowers, a lot of greenery, a lot of outdoor things involving gardening and planting and being outside. So I do end up giving them a couple of garden plots and also a beekeeping area. And I put this bird bath because I figured the birds would be out, the sun would be shining, all that good stuff. And I give them a couple of flowers. I think I could end up eventually giving all of the townhouses flowers. At first I don't give any to fall and winter, but then I saw some orange and white swatches, and I decided to give those to fall and winter just so there could be at least a little bit of a cohesive element to the townhouses. And then here's where I go in and I start adding some of the different decorations. So I put those lights up in the little front garden area so it could light their way, and they look like little flowers, so I thought that was kind of cute. And then I also put some wreaths on the door from seasons. And then here I am, I'm going through, as I said, I did do spring first to get a feel for what I was going to do, and then I went ahead and did the exterior for all the other townhouses. So this one is going to be summer. I went with an off-white wood tone for the exterior of the home, and then I started with white windows, and then I end up going with this yellow tinted ones because the white just seemed a little stark. I wish I had gone back and changed spring over to white now that I'm looking at it, but I also think that might have been a little off. The white in the game looks really bright, so I was trying not to have it look too bright. And then for summer, I did add a couple of daisies around because there are still flowers in the summer, but I tried to make sure I used up more of these shrubs that look like they would be in like Oasis Springs or something like that, somewhere with super hot weather. And I did a lot of white flowers, a lot of white accents, because a lot of the white flowers grow in the summer, like daisies and white roses and stuff like that. And then this is where I remembered we had seasons mailboxes. So I go through and I add the seasons mailboxes, and then I find all the outdoor activities that I throw over onto the spring side. And for summer, you spend a lot of time outside in the summer doing water activities, so I gave them some sprinklers and that water balloon bucket. I don't play with the water balloon bucket myself quite a bit because I just never really played with it all that much. It's not that it's not a fun activity, because it is, and it's a really cute animation. But I do more of the snowball fights in the winter than I do the water balloon fights. And here is fall. So fall is my favorite season, and it also ends up being my favorite townhouse, although it is really close with summer, because I do this really cool thing with summer with a balcony area on the inside of the house, so you'll see that in the next part. But I do really end up liking the fall townhouse as well, so I used these dark but warm wood tones for the build and the windows and all that, and I add pumpkins because I didn't know what other flowers to use. You'll see me start searching for some other things in a second to fill in the space around the pumpkins, and none of them were really screaming fall to me because none of the plants change color unless you're actually in the fall season, and we weren't building in the fall season. So I decided just to use the pumpkins and a couple of the fall leaf decorations from Seasons. And you saw there I placed some leaf piles around, making it look like they hadn't raked up everything, and they had that big tree in their front yard. And I don't give trees to all of them, but fall and winter to me do scream trees. I don't know why. Well, fall is because of the leaves changing, but winter I end up giving an evergreen tree to, which is probably because you decorate your homes with evergreen trees, at least in my family. And so, yeah, and then this is going to be winter. So winter, I kind of wanted to do a bit more modern, so I do end up changing the color scheme a little bit. I end up going with black wood instead, and I do this gray stone and gray siding as well. So it definitely ends up being a black and white color scheme, which to me, winter, even though it's my second favorite season, it's cold. So I think a colder, cooler color scheme is definitely where I was getting my inspiration from for that. But here's the evergreen tree I was talking about. They grow in the winter, which is why they're usually around in winter time builds. And I was really struggling with what to put outside in the winter because a lot of people don't actually do that much outside in the winter, like that isn't like snowball fights and stuff like that. So I gave them a little seating area, and I figured there is a kids room in the winter home, so I figured if their kids were outside doing their snowball fights and doing their snow angels and everything, the parents would sit outside with like a cup of hot cocoa or some tea, and they would maybe relax while watching their kids play outside in the snow. That was my thinking for this little outdoor area. And I'm sorry my camera's moving around so much. I kept finding things that I wanted to add to the other seasons while I was in the miscellaneous decorations category, so I kept just like going back and placing those objects in. And here is the backyard. So there isn't a lot in the backyards, and there isn't a lot of space, and I do that on purpose because I end up giving them a community space back here to use as a townhouse community, because I live in a set of townhouses and we have a park that we share, a dog park that we share, some tennis courts, and then we also have like a little water access area where you can take your boats and your kayaks and everything. So I figured that I wanted this to kind of be like a community area, a community lot for them. So I end up giving them a little barbecue area outside, some swings for the kids, and I think it ends up looking really cute with the landscaping and everything after everything's all done. So the homes themselves don't have a lot of activities in the backyards. You saw me there add, some of the balconies and stuff as I did in the front area. But when we go in and furnish them, they don't really have a whole lot of furniture on them. And here's the little outdoor barbecue area I was talking about. I gave them a couple of picnic tables, some grills, and then I add a couple of trees over here in the planter boxes, just as like the ones that are in the actual build themselves. And I did not do planter boxes, so you probably saw with fall and winter, I did the planter boxes right by the front of the house, but then in the actual yards themselves, I skipped it. And I just did more of like more natural landscaping. To me, fall and winter scream it's not like unfinished, but it's not perfect, basically, because everything's dying, and and I know that sounds so harsh, but that's kind of how it feels to me, is that the earth is like, you can't really tame fall and winter. So that's why I don't do a whole lot of the planter boxes. I keep them up by the front, but then where the trees are and all that, like the leaves and everything, are definitely more natural. And here we are going on to the inside. So this video has the outside and then the interior of spring, and then the video I post on Friday will have the interior of summer, fall, and winter. So here I do a basic like interior area. I was trying there when my camera was moving around, I was trying to remember the color of the windows that I had picked, because I wanted to add some more windows to this area to fill up the space a little bit. And I give them an umbrella rack because it rains a lot in the spring, or at least traditionally it does, so I wanted to make sure that they had the umbrellas and the little coat rack and everything, because I think that just makes it look more homey. And this is one of the ones with kids in it, so I wanted to make sure I had all those items. And then I do those cards that we got from Seasons. Those cards are in every build to kind of depict what season that we're in. And I give a couple of backpacks and some more clutter decorations. And then over here I just place a couple of pictures and a flower. I do put a plant here. It's not that one though. I pull out, I think it's a base game plant. Yeah, I pull out this one right here, and I use the green and purple swatch, and then I place that Seasons rug right by the front door. And you'll see me decorate this bathroom, and then I cut out all the other bathrooms in both videos. And this is because obviously I had Seasons, and the Seasons bathroom stuff is, in my opinion, the best bathroom pack that we have in the game. So I use it in all of the builds, so they do look eerily similar, particularly in the bathrooms. So I didn't think you really needed to see me decorate, I think it's like 10 bathrooms, all in the same style basically. So I did cut out all of the bathrooms except for that one. And here, I didn't really know what to do with this space, so I kind of just put like a little reading nook underneath the stairs. I'm pretty sure your Sims can reach it. I'll test. I end up moving things around a little bit to put a door into this room that's back here, because I forgot that it needed a door. But that's also another funny story. So that room was supposed to be a laundry room. When I did the floor plan, I forgot that I was doing this with Seasons and base game only, and then that would mean that I didn't have laundry. So I put laundry room spaces in every single one of these townhouses that I then had to figure out how to furnish without a laundry room. So I do skip over me furnishing this little tiny room here, but it ends up just being like a storage area basically. I put those decoration boxes that we got from Seasons. I put an undecorated Christmas tree and a couple of other just like random knickknacks and stuff to make it look like that's where they keep all of their decorations and all of their extra like materials. And here I am placing the living room. It's a little bit of an awkward spot. Your Sim can definitely get around it though. But I thought that it ended up looking really cute towards the end, after I get everything all said and done, because I do place the family dining room like right behind them by the back door, and then this little nook over here has the kitchen. And I use these base game counters, and they're not my favorite counters, but I think that they looked really good in this build, and I think I used them in a couple of the other ones as well. And here you can see me just fiddling around with some things, because I wasn't sure if your Sim could walk around in that little corner spot there, if there was something right next to the opening. So I wanted to make sure that it was left blank so that they could walk through. And here I'm just cluttering up the kitchen a little bit. I don't do that much because there isn't a lot of counter space, and I wanted to make sure the kitchen was usable. And here I'm doing the dining area. So it's the table we got in a base game update for the Lunar New Year, and then it's the Seasons chairs. And I really like how good those two look together, because it's almost the exact same wood tone, and then they both have the white accents, so I think it just looks really cute. And then this is a pantry. So I don't always put pantries in my builds, but I had the space for it in this one because we all know I'm really bad at floor planning, and I had this little extra space off to the side, so I decided that that's what this was going to be. So I go into the debug menu and I just pull out random kitchen utensils like those mixing bowls and stuff. I do cut most of it out because it's a lot of moving through the debug menu, but basically it's just the mixing bowls and a couple of other glassware and stuff like that. All base game. I made sure not to use any of the eco lifestyle ones even though they're really cute, but they are all still base game, so you should be okay with that one. And then I'm decorating this little hallway area. I put this painting up here from Seasons. It is my favorite painting. I try not to use it in every room of every townhouse, so it does get used more than once, but it's not every room, so I hope that that is okay. And then over here I just put a little like end table. I don't really know what to call these guys, because when you go under end tables, this one is not there. It doesn't exist. So I don't know what to call that one. You have to go under everything and then like tick off Seasons in order to find it. So it's just kind of weird that that one doesn't show up under end tables. But anyway, this is going to be the master bedroom, and I was trying to use a bed other than the Seasons bed, and I just didn't really like any bed in here except for the Seasons bed. I do, however, though, use some beds other than Seasons beds across these townhomes, so it's not just Seasons, I promise you. But I'm just using the Seasons bed here, and then I put those Seasons lights over the side as kind of like some feature lights hanging over the end tables for the bed. And then I'm placing a couple of different clutter items. I didn't really think about the jobs of these parents all that much. I mean, obviously one likes to garden because there's gardening stuff out front, but that was pretty much the extent of what I thought. And then here I can't remember who did it, but I saw this in a couple of different videos, and I've said it before in my videos, my biggest complaint about that Seasons mirror, because it's gorgeous, but my biggest complaint is that it sits too high up on the wall. So when I saw someone do this, I was like, oh my god, you mean I can fix my one issue with the Seasons bedroom? How perfect. So I decided to try it out, and it does work. I had a little bit of an issue. It kept flipping over to the other side of the wall, but I ended up getting it to work. So I'm really happy about that. And then this is just the study area, or the office. So I was thinking maybe one of the parents had a job that needed them to have a computer or something. I also leave one desk kind of empty. I figured the kids could use it for homework. But over here I did place one with a computer, and there's a bookshelf in here. And then I was going to use that calendar, but then when I searched for it, I realized it was from Get to Work. It was not from Base Game as I thought it was. So I had to take it off and then just place a base game painting there. And then this is the first kids room. So this is for two twins. Kids, it doesn't, I mean, you could switch them out for toddler beds. I didn't really decorate it in a specific way for kids, so you could definitely switch this out for two toddler beds, or take away one of the beds and just do one kid. But I had a bookshelf and a little reading area over here, and then a dresser, and then a mirror. And I clutter up the dresser a little bit. I don't add that much stuff to it, I don't think. I think I just throw some toys around and everything. And then I use the green dinosaur prop because I really like how it matched the rest of the green that I used in the build. And then I was going to use one of the dinosaur rugs, but none of them, like, they weren't the same greens as the beddings were. Like, because the beddings were really, like, deep forest green, and those were all really bright, so I decided just to leave it. And then up here is going to be another little family area and the teenager's bedroom. So the teenager's bedroom, I do end up giving them a single bed. You saw it right there, because I really wanted to use this bed, but I thought it would be a bit extra if I put it in the room where there was two kids. I thought that having two of those beds would be a bit too much. So I do give it here to the teenager, and I think that that's okay, because I mean, the teenagers don't need double beds. They are still just teenagers, so I think it dresses it up a little bit more. But my thinking for this teenager was that they were an artist. I do end up giving them an easel. You see it right here, and a couple of different art supplies from Base Game, and some different paintings as well. I was initially going to try and use the debug paintings, but then I pulled them out and realized that they still weren't painted, which I thought that they would be. So I just pull out this landscaping one here, and I figured maybe her favorite artist had painted it, and then I give them a couple of different artist clutter items, such as those canvases you saw there, and then those pop art paintings. So, and this is going to be another little bit of a family area. I wasn't quite sure what to put up here. I knew I wanted to get a chess table and a couple more skill building items, but the space was really big, so I also ended up giving them another living room, kind of. It's not as large as the other one. There's just a couple of chairs and a TV, but I figured maybe the teenager comes up here with her friends, because her room is right here, and just like hangs out up here with her friends and plays some chess and watches some TV or some movies with them, just to have a little bit of a private space from their family. And besides that, that is it for this build, so I hope you all enjoyed this one. and you stick around for the next part of this series, and I will see you all then. Bye!
Thank you.